Hello dudes, it is I am the one and only Mighty the Armadillo here. And I am the one and only Ray the Flying Squirrel here. We are from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos once again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury for the Nintendo Switch. So last time we basically just managed to accomplish the 4th world despite we accidentally died on the last level of World 4 just because of this unexpected Goober Tower enemy. But today, for this episode, is the fact that we're about to be hitting on to the forms of World 5. So, yeah, before we start the actual, another discussion for this point today, first of all, let's head over to the first level in World 5, which is Sunshine Seaside. So, because of that, we could explore around the whole entire beach with this nice sunny weather, which, that reminds me, Mighty, is the fact that until tomorrow, that we are going to the hotel, so hooray! Yep, exactly, dude. Especially noticeable about the fact that we can take some time off for this, for the likes of the summer season and all that stuff, though. Well, usually, relatively speaking, that today's day is, of course, the 11th of August today. In this case, in 2021 today. So either way, though, not much else to talk about. Well, aside from the fact that we've already mentioned about quite a lot of stuff ever since the last video, apart from the fact that, well, we forgot to mention about the forms of the actual total medal count for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games that already did happen, and that will have to be by the forms of how the fact that, well, we might as well able to discuss this specifically until the next level, because first of all, we'd like to mention first of all is the forms of, well, as we already know, is the fact that the Nintendo Switch is doing super well, mainly for the fact that, well, they actually received for about 89 million consoles has been sold so far, which is really impressive. Now, as far as the software lineup of games, as far as best-selling software of games as far as I'm concerned, well, some of them actually felt exactly the same, aside from that one particular replacement in the 10th spot, which we'll talk more about that whenever we're able to actually go for this level. So, Ray, do you think you can able to actually just look upon the list of certain Switch games that's been doing so well? Yeah, absolutely, bro. Absolutely. First of all, obviously number 1 is still Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and it's been now sold for about 37.8 million copies sold. And as far as Animal Crossing New Horizons, it's still in 2nd place, but this time it's usually 33.89 million copies sold. So that's actually quite impressive, actually. And as far as 3rd place is concerned, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is now 24.77 million copies sold, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild still in 4th place, which is in 23.20 million copies sold, so that's actually very impressive. Pokemon Sword and Shield, 21.85 million copies sold in 5th place. 6th place still goes to Super Mario Odyssey with the forms of 21.40 million copies sold, so that's actually quite impressive. 7th place still goes to Super Mario Party, which at this point in time, that game has been sold for about 15.72 million copies sold. Could imagine about the fact that with Mario Party Superstars will be on its way, then it'll double the amount of sales, if eventually it will come out. Like, I highly doubt it will be true by that then, right? Because obviously, that, you know, with Mario Party Superstars, that's how it should be done in the first place, like back in 2017, but nope, it just releases on the 3DS to begin with, which, God knows why. But I digress. Should I continue? Yeah, well, I move on to the forms of the next, few levels down there, so if that's to be the case, then yeah, continue. Next game is in 8th place, which is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee editions, which at this point they've got about 13.57 million copies sold. And as far as Splatoon 2 is concerned, well, basically Splatoon 2 has got, well, still a 9th place, but usually, relatively speaking, that game got 12.45 million copies sold, so that's quite impressive. Until by that time Splatoon 3 will be on its way, then it'll boost up sales even more, so even then though, that should be pretty good. Now, as far as 10th place are concerned, well, it's important to note that Ring Fit Adventure is now on the 10th spot. So, usually because of that though, it's now beaten New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe sales records, which at this point, Ring Fit Adventure did manage to sell for about 11.26 million copies sold. So yeah, that's actually pretty impressive. Now, as far as New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe is concerned, well, nothing different, well, apart from the fact that, you know, it's now in 11th place right now, so because of that, not much updates from that game, so it's usually still sold about, like, 10.44 million copies sold, but regardless of such, it still does pretty dang well for the Nintendo Switch owners, and as far as 12th place, it will be still, basically, Luigi's Mansion 3, almost to the point that it's almost like 10 million copies sold, but to be more specifically, it is still usually onto the point where basically it just says like 9.59 million copies sold, so yeah, that's actually quite impressive. And 13th place position goes to Super Mario 3D All-Stars for the Nintendo Switch, usually around for about 9.01 million copies sold. I don't think it'll continue to sell up, because obviously with the discontinuation with new copies and all that stuff though, so yeah, it's kind of sad. And, what else? There was also Super Mario Maker 2, which is still in, actually kind of think about it, it's now in like 14th place or something like that, which at this point they've got, 7.15 million copies sold, so yeah, it's not much in comparison to the rest of the other Switch games that we've mentioned. And as far as I'm aware, 15th place, I should say. Sorry for a little bit of a tongue twisting again, folks. Basically, Monster Hunter Rise is actually on 7 million copies sold. So yeah, that's actually quite good. And there are some new ones in the lineup, such as, for instance, that we've actually got ourselves... Although we've already know about the forms of Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, the game we are still playing. But as far as I'm aware, they actually got that recent update for the actual sales records. Which at this point in time, that game is now sold for about 6.68 million copies sold, which is quite good. I don't know if I can usually compare that to the original Wii U version. In fact, we'll probably do a research on it eventually, by that time specifically until next Monday. Because yes, as far as what, well, me and Mighty has already discussed this earlier, ever since in the previous part, that we're probably not going to upload anything for this Friday or this Thursday between the next parts of Donkey Kong Country 3 as well as the forms of Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, because obviously we are taking another holiday break, but this time, you know, with 2 days, and also we're going to the hotel. So even then though, we still can't go abroad sadly, but apart from those side of things though, at least we can still have some plenty of time to able to actually just to relax and all that. Yeah, sounds true to me. And as far as 17th places are concerned, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, the remake version of the game, it doesn't have anything new for records department for the sales records, apart from the fact that, well, usually it's still like 5.49 million copies sold. And as far as Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is concerned, 3.70 million copies sold, as in, like, you know, ever since about a few months ago. And also Among Us is 19th place within 3.20 million copies sold, as in, like, you know, at the end of that monstrosity year with the forms of 2020. And 20th place goes to 1-2 Switch, as in 3.18 million copies sold, as in by the end of 2019. Still didn't get any records for that department right there, but apart from those side things though, it's actually pretty decent, so... Yeah, anyway, and what else? Oh yeah, Clubhouse 51 Worldwide Classics is still at the moment, it still managed to sell for about 3.14 million copies sold, so that's actually pretty alright. And 22nd place goes to Paper Mario, the Origami King, sold for about, you know, 3.12 million copies sold, so yeah, that's actually pretty alright. Mario Tennis Aces still in the forms of in 23rd place, as in 3.06 million copies sold. So I don't know if that game will continue to support it, because obviously that game is now fully completed now, thanks to the forms of free updates during the forms of free characters, even though we didn't get new court sadly, but apart from those side things though, that's it's actually alright. So next is Momotaro. Don't say I can't really remember what that game title was. I know it's definitely in Japanese for sure, but basically that game has been sold for about 3 million copies sold, so that's alright I suppose. 25th place goes to Kirby Star Allies, sold for about 2.93 million copies sold, so even though it's not changed, more likely than everything, so I guess that's something. 26th place goes to Fire Emblem Three Houses, 2.87 million copies sold, and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, 2.65 million copies sold. And ARMS, on the other hand, got 2.38 million copies sold so far anyway, even though that the pricing or the actual record, the sales records is unchanged, so there's no point getting into that. So, and also we got Minecraft, 2.24 million copies sold so far anyway. And there's gonna be some new ones to line up as well. Like for instance, new Pokemon Snap actually receives 2.07 million copies sold, as in the forms of by the end of June this year. So that's actually pretty good. Like, I'm really hoping they're able to actually continue to boost the actual sales for that game, because obviously that I'm very glad that new Pokemon Snap exists. So as far as Pikmin 3 Deluxe is concerned, basically 2.04 million copies sold, as in, you know, by the end of March, so not much else has changed. So Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, 2 million copies sold so far. Well, usually, relatively speaking, that the sequel will be on its way, so at least we're hoping we'll continue that boosting sales for that department, but we'll see what happens until next year. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 got about 1.92 million copies sold. And Yoshi's Crafted World, 1.84 million copies sold. And Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, 1.52 million copies sold. And Octopath Traveler, 1.5 million copies sold. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which, speaking of Captain Toad, we are playing one of those levels immediately as soon as we say that. And so far, they got, you know, 1.44 million copies sold by the end of 2019. Now, another new one to the lineup, which appears to be Mario Golf Super Rush. And that game is now being sold for about 1.34 million copies sold. Not much in comparison to the forms of Mario Tennis Aces. I mean, let's face it though, it's the fact that usually Mario Golf Super Rush did recently came out for about almost like 2 months ago. Yeah, I think it's 2 months, wasn't it? Yeah, it's probably 2 months ago, so yeah, I do apologize for that lack of commentary at the moment, because obviously Ray's doing a lot of conversation for this point, guys. But anyway, continue. Oh yeah, Nintendo Labo Toy-Con 1 Variety Kit, still in 1.31 million copies sold, and yeah, sorry for this awkward belchiness, I'm afraid. I know it's incredibly gross, but still. Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, still stuck with 1.27 million copies sold. I'm guessing it's like accessories required or something like that. I have no idea, but I digress. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX is still stuck on 1.26 million copies sold. And Pokken Tournament DX still at 1.16 million copies sold, despite we still haven't touched that game yet. But we're really looking forward to that though, especially noticeable despite this is actually a port to the Wii U game nonetheless. But either way, Astro Chain, 1.08 million copies sold, as in, you know, by the end of March last year. And Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, still got 1.08 million copies sold. And another new one is actually added by the forms of, well, Miitopia, which somehow that particular version of the game sold for about 1.04 million copies sold. So, and as far as the rest are concerned, Enter the Gungeon, and Fitness, Boxing, and Takono, Jansenjan, Drum and Fun, and Thief Simulator. 3 of those games. Oh, I just realized that Thief Simulator is also another one of those new things as well. That's for those 4 games combined, that's they've managed to obviously got 1 million copies. So yeah, sold-wise. So anyways, now it's my turn for discussion, and that's the forms of the Olympic medal table that we've gone through so far by the end of the forms of the Tokyo Olympics. In this case, 2020 Olympic Games, or technically 2021, just because obviously with the year, you know. So, as far as the tally results goes, United States of America is actually in first place for the medal table, which at this point the United States got about 39 golds, and 41 silvers and 33 bronzes, and by that country has a grand total of 113 medals total. Jeez, that seems quite a lot, especially notable that the American is actually a big country. Well, usually, relatively speaking, that is usually true. And second place goes to China by the forms of 38 golds and 32 silvers and 18 bronzes, and that leads them to 88 medals total. So yeah, it seems quite a lot as well. And as far as third place is concerned, Japan was in third place, and so far they've got 27 gold and 14 silvers and 17 bronze medals, and they've got about 58 medals total. So not much compared to the forms of China or United States, but at least they did really dang well. Now, as far as our country is concerned, Great Britain, we actually on 4th place. And by the record, for the actual standpoint anyway, for Great Britain medals count, we actually got about 22 golds and 21 silvers and 22 bronzes, and that leads us to 65 medals total. So yeah, that seems, you know, quite a good amount. So as far as 5th place is concerned is Russian Olympic Community, and that particular country also had well, usually relatively speaking, they've got 20 golds, 28 silvers, and 23 bronzes, and that leads them to 71 medals total. And Australia was in 6th place by the forms of 17 golds and 7 silver medals. Sorry for a little bit of a tongue twisting here, folks, I'm afraid. And also 22 bronzes, and that gives them about 46 medals total for Australia. And 7th place goes to Netherlands, which has 10 golds, and same applies to the forms of France, Germany, and Italy. Those 3 countries also had 10 gold medals. But in Netherlands, though, they've got about 12 silver medals and 14 bronze medals, and they've got about 36 medals. So that seems quite impressive. Now, as far as France are concerned, for what I've double-checked anyway, 12 silvers and 11 bronzes, which actually leads them to 33 medals total. So, and Germany got about 11 silvers and 16 bronzes, and that leads them to 37 medals. So, yeah, that seems quite a lot. Italy, on the other hand, got about 10 gold and 10 silvers and 20 bronzes, and that leads them to 40 medals. And Canada managed to got 7 gold and 6 silvers and 11 bronze medals, and that leads them into a grand total of 24 medals. Brazilians, or Brazil, got about 7 golds and 6 silver medals and 8 bronze medals, and that leads them to 21 medals total. And New Zealand, so far, they've got 7 gold medals, just like Canada and Brazil, but usually same applies to the forms of the silver medals count as well. That's both Canada Brazil, and New Zealand. Those 3 countries also has like, 6 medals total. And as far as the forms of bronze medals concerned, for New Zealand, they actually receive about 7 of them. And that pretty much leads them to 20 medals total for New Zealand. So yeah, that seems very impressive, I might add. Yeah, tell me about it, especially noticeable how the fact that they were really, flawless at it. Well, for most events anyway. Yeah, tell me about it though, Mighty, because there might be some events that they must have struggles with, but apart from that, not too shabby. And 14th place goes to Cuba, that they actually got 15 medals total, which at that time they've got 7 golds and 3 silvers and 5 bronzes. So yeah, that's actually really good. Hungary is in 15th place, and they've got 6 gold and 7 silver medals and 7 bronze medals. So that leads them up to 20 medals. And 16th place goes to South Korea, and they've managed to got 6 gold and 4 silvers and 10 bronzes. And also they've got 20 medals total. And for Poland, they managed able to got 4 gold, 5 silvers, and 5 bronzes, and that leads them to 14 medals total. So yeah, that's actually, super impressive for that specific time. And Czech Republic, I think that's what the country's name anyway. Basically, they've got about 4 golds and 4 silvers and 3 bronzes, and that leads them to 11 medals total. Kenya managed to got about 4 golds and 4 silvers and 2 bronze medals. So, yeah, that seems kind of obvious. And they've got about 10 medals total. For Norway, they've got about also 4 gold and 2 silvers and 2 bronzes, which at that time they've got 8 medals total. Not much. And as far as Jamaica is concerned, oh man, Jamaica is brilliant at sprinting. Yeah, true that. Especially noticeable on, 100-meter dash and all that stuff. But basically, they've got 4 gold and 1 silver and 4 bronze medals. And they've got 9 medals total. For Spain-wise, they've got 3 golds and 8 silvers and 6 bronze medals, and that leads them to 17 medals total. And next of all is Sweden, that they've got about 3 gold and 6 silvers. No bronze medals, sadly, but apart from those side things though, they did pretty decently within 9 medals total, so that's actually quite impressive for them. Next of all is Switzerland. They managed to receive 3 golds and 4 silvers and 6 bronze medals, and that leads them to 13 medals total. And next of all is Denmark, which actually got 3 golds and 4 silvers and 4 bronze medals, and that leads them to 11 medals total. Kateria, I think that's what the country's name anyway. Basically, they've received 3 golds, 3 silvers, and 2 bronzes, and that leads them to 8. For Iran, basically they've got 3 golds, 2 silvers, and 2 bronzes, make them a grand total of, let's just say the forms of 7 medals total. So, again, it's not much, but at least it's something. And also there's Serbia. They've managed able to receive 3 golds and 1 silver and 5 bronzes, which actually got them about 9 medals total. For Belgium, they've got about 3 golds, 1 silver, and 3 bronzes, and that gets them 7 medals total wise. And I would like to mention more, we'll mention something that's kind of obscure by the forms of, let's just say Turkey. Like, Turkey got about 2 golds, 2 silvers, and 9 bronze medals, and they've managed to receive 13 medals total count. And as far as Greece is concerned, well, usually Greece did that pretty decently, like it consists of 2 golds and 1 silver and 1 bronze, making them a grand total of 4 medals they've gone through. For Ireland, managed able to receive 2 golds and no silver, sadly, but at least they managed to got 2 bronzes to top it off as well. Yeah, I thought it might be able to say something like this happens to be, so... And there's also the forms of, I would say India managed able to actually receive 1 gold and then 2 silvers and 4 bronze medals, and makes them a grand total of 7 medals. Hong Kong managed able to get 6 medals total by 1 gold, 2 silvers, and 3 bronzes. So, sure that's something. And also, South America managed to able to have no bronzes somehow, and they received 2 silvers and only 1 gold medal, and that pretty much leaves them to 3 medals. So, for Egypt, for 1 gold, 1 silver, and 4 bronzes, grand total-wise, it will be 6 medals. And I suppose we'll finally mention one last country before we end off this video. That's what appears to be Austria, which apparently that country did receive 5 bronzes and 1 gold and 1 silver. So that leads them to, leads them into 7 medals. So, that's a lot of countries I've been listed in. Even though I would like to mention all of the countries do have their specific medal counts, but I think you should probably look it up on Wikipedia for the best, because, well, I just feel so exhausted after all this conversation about, you know, sales records for certain stuff, as well as the medal counts that any other country receives. So, jeez Louise, man. Yeah, anyway though, so, yeah, as you can see on screen, that's how we managed to somehow complete it World 5. So, yeah, now we're basically moving on to the 6th world. So, yeah, and by that time, we managed able to rescue the 5th Sprinkly Princess. So, yeah, we basically just 100% the rest of the 5th world. Even though there's also that little secret level that we would like to mention until whenever we get into the extra stuff, but not now though, because, well, here we are in the forms of in the 6th world, which takes place in the skies above. So, suffice to say, I think we should probably end things off here, so join us next time for more of Let's Play of Super Mario 3D World, plus Bowser's Fury. That is the fact that we're hit on to World 6. So, with that being said, we'll see you guys until on Monday. Yep, later fellas. See you then.